All right, question 7 for year 2017. Okay, so the graph below shows the path connecting an exhibit in a zoo. So explain why the graph is not semi-Eulerian. Okay, so in this case, then you need to check the degree of the vertices. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one is 5. Okay, then 2, 4, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. Okay, so in this case, you will realize that you have more than 2 odd vertices, like there are 3 vertices that having odd degree. So why is it not semi-Eulerian? Because the graph, okay, has more than 2 odd vertices. Okay, so that explains why the graph is not semi-Eulerian. So getting this question correct, then you get 1 mark. So add one edge on the graph so that it becomes a semi-Eulerian and does not contain a bridge. Okay, so to do this question, there are a few things that you need to think about. The first thing is that to make sure that your graph becomes semi-Eulerian, then which means in this case, you can only have exactly like 2 odd vertices. Am I right? So that's why, oh, I'm sorry for my explanation just now. You have 4 odd vertices. This is 5, this is 3, this is 3, this is 3. Okay, so which means that if let's say the question want you to draw only one edge, right, then what you're supposed to be thinking now is that you should connect 2 of the odd vertices together. Because when you try to draw an edge connect 2 of the odd vertices, you will realize that your degree for the 2 vertices will become even now. Then you will left with like nice 2 odd vertices, right? So, but there will be some extra thing that given in this question is that the question said that it becomes semi-Eulerian and does not contain a bridge. So in this case, which means that we need to look at where is our bridge first. So if you try to look at this picture, then the edge that once you remove and the graph become disconnected is going to be here, right? So this is where your bridge is, okay? Because once this edge is removed, then these 2 graphs, they are like disconnected into like 2 separate regions. Whenever you start at, you cannot go to the other side. So that's why this is your bridge. So which means that to make sure this edge is not a bridge anymore, then which means that this is a vertex that you must connect to the other side. Okay, then you are able to have another edge that connect the graph from this, okay, from this region to the other region. Am I right? So that's why you cannot draw like this. Because if let's say your edge is like this, then which means that the line here, the edge here will be still a bridge. Okay, so to make sure that it doesn't connect a bridge, it doesn't contain a bridge anymore, then you must make sure that this is the vertex that you must use lah. Okay, so then all the other, it doesn't matter like whether or not you link to, you know, this one or this one or that one. Okay, so let's try to draw that. Okay, so you can draw any just to make sure that it links to the odd vertices lah. Okay, so now when you're having this edge, then this edge in the middle here is not a bridge anymore. Okay, so either you draw a line here, or either you draw a line here, okay, or either you choose to draw a line here. Okay, anyone will do. So as long as it's from one side to the other, and also you are connecting the odd vertices together. Okay, so that's question 2. Okay, so part 3. Okay, one thing that I want to mention here is when you are doing this kind of question, right, it's actually a technique that how you read the question. Like if the question goes like part A, like the question don't have like a big question by itself, but the question straight away, like when you start question 7, right, it straight away start from part A, then after that part B. It means that your A and B is most likely not related to each other. They are like independent kind of question. Okay, so when you move on to part B, then you no need to care about part A anymore. So the adjacency matrix Q represent the raised path connecting the observation platforms in the safari section at the zoo. So draw a planar graph for the adjacency matrix. Okay, so remember every time when you want to construct a graph based on an adjacency matrix, the first thing that you need to check is whether or not the graph is a directed or a non-directed graph. Okay, so when we try to look at this is our leading diagonal, right? So you can see that the number here, okay, This is the same, this is the same, this is the same. Here is also the same, and then same. So that's why we know that these matrix, they are symmetrical about the leading diagonal. So that's why if let's say the graph is symmetrical about the leading diagonal, then what you will be having will be a non-directed graph. Okay, so when you are drawing the edge, then you cannot draw direction. Okay, so we can go through everything row by row, then that will be easier. So if you, let's say that you already know that the graph is a non-directed graph, one way to do it is that you only draw this part. Okay, then you wouldn't like drawing A to B 2H, then later B to A, you draw another 2H. You get what I mean, right? Because you are getting the number in two-way directions. So that's why sometimes we tend to do that. Okay, so A to B got 2, 1. Okay, which means that's going to be multiple edges. Okay, then after that, you should use ruler, yeah, for all the straight line. Okay, so B to C, you have 1. B to D, that is also 1. Sorry, A to C, you got 1. A to D, also 1. Okay, so B to A got 2. Just now you already drawn the 2. So remember, don't draw any extra 2 anymore. So B to C got 1. Okay, B to D, another 1. Okay, then for C1, C to A, C to B, you have already drawn. Then after that, the last one is DD. Okay, so DD means that you have a loop. Okay, but then I think we left out something here. So the question said that draw a planar graph. Okay, so if the question didn't say that you need to draw a planar graph, then this answer is good enough. But if the question say that you need a planar graph, then maybe in this case, you need to move your AD or you need to move your CB. So in this case, then I would choose to bring my CD lah. Okay, so I can draw my CD outside. Okay, all right. So, or you can draw it like this, also doesn't matter lah. Just make sure that you should have one edge that connect B and C together. So after you finish everything, then you remember to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 7 edges, then only you know that what you are drawing here is correct. Okay, so that's for this question.